because I got my favorite cup. With my favorite people, good morning. And today, we are talking about 5 senses in Ichigo Ichie, which is one moment, once in a lifetime encounter. This moment here, this time with me and you, won't be repeated. So anything that we say, anything that you type is recorded into history, which is a great thing. In the podcast, episode 258, if you go back in iTunes and look at episode 258, it was about Ichigo Ichie and intentional listening. And since I've done that before, I'm doing something a little bit different. This time around, we're applying the filters, and I wanted to talk something a little bit different. First thing I'm in the habit of doing now is going straight to Google to see what it says, get the opinion, what the definition is. First thing that popped up on Google is this: listening is the ability to accurately receive and interpret messages in the communication process. Listening is a key to all effective communication. Without the ability to listen effectively, messages are easily misunderstood. Effective listening is a skill that underpins all positive human relationships, and that came from skillsyouneed.com, which says a lot. But that is really listening. The second entry came from mindtools.com. It says the way to improve your listening skills is to practice active listening. This is where you make a conscious effort to hear not only the words another person is saying but more importantly, the complete message being communicated. In order to do this, you must pay attention to the other person very carefully. Now, in Ichigo Ichie, usually there's 2 people involved, or 2 or more people. But really, let's take it deeper. It's always 2 people, just 2 people. Because it's that moment. Even if there's a crowd of people all talking at the same time, you might hear everybody talking at the same time, and you might process pretty fast, but you can only do one thing at a time. You can only listen one at a time. And effective listening, you can only do that one at a time. So if I'm talking to 3 people, the Ichigo Ichie surrounds that moment, right? But within that moment, there are multiple moments. I'm talking with CJ right here, okay? And Trinity Bamboo Tree, I'm talking to that one. But if you notice, if I'm talking and listening to Bamboo, CJ is in the conversation, but the moment is between us 2. I listen and they listen. They join the conversation, I listen and they listen. It's only between 2 people. And it's the same with yourself. So if you're having tea with yourself, that moment between yourself, you're listening to yourself. Now, I'm not saying that yourself is another person, okay? It's a part of you. But your subconscious mind works without stop. Even if you're not thinking of nothing, your subconscious mind is also always turning. It's always turning over the problems that you have in it, whatever you're saying, because it's trying to bring about what you're thinking about. And remember those 6 little words: we become what we think about. We become what we think about. Yeah, that's 6. So, applying the filters. The filters are reflective devices that reflect the thoughts and the feelings on the subject being communicated to you. So if CJ is telling me something, or Bamboo is telling me something, I have to apply those filters. And remember what the filters were. They are attitude, vision, courage, and persistence. So I have to take in what's being said, and what we hear through these filters might be different from what they're saying. I always think of this, and it's always funny because it's always happens. I'm talking to my coach, and I'll tell her something that she said that I heard. And she might not have said it the way I heard it, but I always tell her what I heard. This is how I process what she said. And she'll be like, I said that? That's good. And that's affirmation that she was saying something to really be effective to someone else. That's a coach. And it also shows that I'm listening, and what I'm hearing, I can actually repeat what I processed and tell her how I took it. So hearing things with a good attitude, these are applying the filters, hearing things with a good attitude, and the filter of vision, hearing things according to the purpose of our lives, our Ikigai. The filter of courage, courage to understand the unknown, what they're saying. And the persistence filter, the fight to understand the complete message. That's a fight. It takes persistence to listen to someone all the way through. Because, I don't know, when you're talking to someone, a lot of times they're talking and you're starting to already, you hear what they're saying. You heard something, but when you're actively listening, you wait for the conversation to be, the thing to be communicated, that complete message. What we do is, I'll tell you a little bit and you already start thinking, okay, he's going here. I used to hate this. This used to be a pet peeve. My partner on my machine back in the day, I would get so mad. I'm trying to tell her something and she would automatically jump. So I could be like, I went to, and she'd be like, you went to McDonald's? I did too. It was good, wasn't it? And I'm like, I went to Walmart. And you bought a new computer? I need a new computer. No, I bought a turkey for Thanksgiving. And if you see, she heard part of the message, but automatically started thinking, this is what they're going to say. This is how I'm going to respond. We're going to have a great conversation. But the message was not completed. How many times do we sit and we think we're talking to God and we're just meditating and we're just thinking, and God tells us one little part and then we're running with it. Oh man. Remember, God told Abraham, you're going to have a son. What Abraham do? He goes and has a son, but not the way God was telling him to do it. He took it to a different, and look at the problems that happened. Anyway, I talked about 258. There's some things in 258 that I went back and read the blog for 258, the show notes, and I was like, man, who said that? I got to start listening to myself. But I already know the things that are being said or being communicated is the things that God is telling me. So, once I go back and listen to it again, I'm like, wow. But the things that I really wanted you to know that's different from 258 is that we process things on a subconscious level. Our minds are listening. Okay? Our minds are listening. So I said this in the show notes, you'll see it. It says this is where things get real. And that's literally because the things that I accept, the things that I apply those filters to are processed in my mind. So if you tell me something and I take it and I apply my filters to it, it's being processed in my mind according to those filters. And those things that are being processed, I'm thinking about. And those 6 words, what are those 6 words? We become what we think about. So literally what's being said and being processed, and I apply it and I take it to heart, it starts to become real. So you got to remember that your mind, like I said before, it doesn't turn off. All it does is it takes those 5 senses and starts to process it. So whatever we're using the 5 senses towards, applying filters is intentionally feeding your brain. Okay, feeding your mind. And your mind being fed will think about those things that you feed it. And we become what we think about. So you either intentionally feed your brain good stuff using the filters, your attitude, your vision, having courage and persistence, or you unintentionally do it and let somebody else dictate what's being fed to you. And like TV commercials say, you need this, buy now. And you keep seeing it, and you eventually, I need, I don't have a yard, but I need a new lawnmower because, that'd be good, something good to have. And you spend all this money on a lawnmower and you don't even have a yard. This is how this works. So as you go throughout your day, listen to people for the complete message. Go back to 258 because it has some good things, and I'll tell you what the points in it tomorrow if you didn't look at it. But tomorrow we'll start talking about vision and seeing. All right. Have a great day. I love you very much. And kanpai.